Hello there, and welcome to a very special episode of Electric Sheep. This is for my channel, the 999th video that will be uploaded. So, thank you for watching if you're watching this, and just thank you for being you. We're all in this together. Um, let's get things going with a story that's a little chunkier. It's not a long story. It's still a short story, but it's a little over 5 minutes at 5 minutes and 39 seconds, and that's become a long story for me. But let's listen to the story titled Power and Strength.
Power and strength. We are the Armored Legion. We have conquered 1,000,000 worlds with our beautiful and terrible mech armor, cathedrals of steel wrapped around flesh too soft for the violence of the stars. We did not need to engage Earth's militaries in prolonged battle. We walked through falling bombs. We waded through hordes of machines and soldiers. Explosions bloomed against our plating like harmless fireworks. We approached your leaders not in fury, but in demonstration. Resistance had been measured. It had been found insufficient. Earth and its people were ours to do with as we pleased. I am Supreme Leader of the Armored Legion, conqueror of spiral arms, breaker of sieges, bearer of the sun-forged mantle. Of all the worlds subdued, I chose Earth as my place of rest. There was something about it, its oceans, its gravity, the stubbornness in its defenders, that intrigued me. A moderate structure was built to my liking: stone, steel, and open air. As tradition dictated, I would choose a native to maintain my dwelling. A young male of 16 Earth years was selected. His name was Eric. His family was informed of the honor. They would be supplied with all they could need or want in exchange for their son, with the understanding that he would not be abused. I did not abuse him. His primary task was simple: mopping and sweeping the endless dust that accumulated from my comings and goings. My armor shed particles of alien soil and pulverized stone from distant campaigns. The floors were never clean for long. Eric worked without complaint, but it was not his obedience that caught my attention. It was what he did when his work was finished. In a small chamber off the main hall, he kept crude metal implements, bars and weighted discs. I observed him through my armor's optics as he intentionally stressed his muscles, lifting over 90 pounds in controlled repetitions. His face tightened, his arms trembled, sweat fell to the stone. With my mechanical armor, I could lift vehicles, I could crush bunkers, I could tear apart fortifications with ease. But I saw something unfamiliar. He grew stronger. Over months, the weights increased. 90 pounds became 100. 100 became more. His movements became steadier, his posture more confident. His arms thickened, his back widened. His strength was not given, it was built. One day, compelled by a curiosity I could not extinguish, I did the unthinkable. I exited my armor. For the first time on Earth, I stood exposed, frail flesh beneath the myth of metal. My species evolved for intellect and endurance within our machines. Outside them, we were diminished. I approached the dumbbell I had seen Eric lift with casual focus. 25 pounds. I grasped it, pulled. It did not move. I adjusted my stance and strained. Muscles quivered uselessly. The weight remained anchored to the floor as though fused to the planet's core. I struggled so intensely that I did not notice Eric watching from the doorway. When I did, humiliation struck deeper than any battlefield wound. I, conqueror of worlds, could not lift what this youth wielded as routine. I released the weight and straightened, refusing to hide. "We have conquered your world," I said, my voice stripped of amplification, raw and smaller than it had ever sounded. "But you, by your own hand, have conquered that which I cannot even budge. Know this, I acknowledge your power. Teach me. How do you train your body to become powerful?" Eric blinked, surprised, but not mocking. He put away the mop. He walked to his belongings and returned with 2 small weights, 1 pound each. He smiled. "Don't try an ego lift," he said. "Start lighter and work your way up. It looks like I lift a lot, but the most trained humans have lifted over 1,500 pounds. If I want to get there, I have to build toward it. You've got to take care of your muscles, stress them without destroying yourself." There was wisdom in his words, though he was young. I lifted the 1 pound weight. It rose. With effort, but it rose. Day after day, I trained beside him. My species had long relied on machines for labor and war. Our flesh had atrophied through generations of dependence. Yet under Earth's gravity, with disciplined repetition, my muscles responded. 1 pound became 2. 2 became 5. The progression was slow, humiliating at times, but measurable. I studied Earth's history of strongmen. I watched recordings of figures like Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson lifting impossible weights through years of patient training. These humans had not conquered planets. They had conquered themselves. I was amazed, so I organized a new event, a world's strongest competition. Not as a spectacle of domination, but as celebration. Invitations were sent across the planet. Athletes gathered beneath open skies rather than under banners of surrender. For the first time since Earth's fall, humans assembled not in fear, but in pride. Eric stood beside me, not below me, beside me. I did not wear my armor. We watched titans of flesh and bone lift stones, pull vehicles, and hoist bars heavy enough to shame my former self. The crowd roared with a sound no weapon could silence. In that arena, there were no masters, no slaves, only effort, only growth. Earth was conquered, but it was not broken. Power, I had learned, is what crushes resistance. Strength is what builds capacity. Power is imposed. Strength is earned. Together, Eric and I were just scratching the surface of power and strength.
Well, I I really like this story. Um, it has everything that I wrote and a little bit more. That's what I like about working with ChatGPT is sometimes you get additions that feel like great collaborative contributions because there's a whole little bit in here that was made to be an ending, and I even rewrote the ending after this, but I left the part that ChatGPT put in because it was I just like it to end with the title Power and Strength, but instead of just ending it with Power and Strength, ChatGPT had written that thing where it says, "Power I had learned is what crushes resistance. Strength is what builds capacity. Power is imposed. Strength is earned." I don't necessarily agree with that as like philosophy of power, but I appreciate this character having that perspective on power and seeing power and strength as two different things because that was supposed to be the point of the story that I suppose I never really tackled. I never really said what was the juxtaposition of power and strength, like being so similar supposedly. But I love this addition here because it feels like it completed the thought that I was running along with, but then got um, sidetracked with other elements of the story. But this is just a great little roundup. Um, and then I still had it end with the title Power and Strength. Just had it rewrite the ending a little bit. And so it made me happy. It made me feel like it also added context by adding actual names of strongmen, uh, Thor and Eddie Hall there. Some of the world's current strongest men. Well, I think Eddie Hall is technically retired, but they still are guys who have lifted some of the biggest weights that have been definitively lifted by humans. There are heavier lifts historically, and there's less official lifts, but Eddie Hall lifted 1,500 pounds, I believe it was, when he was having the nosebleed there, and that's just inspirational, you know. And I like the idea that that inspiration would translate from a teenager to a alien warlord. That maybe somebody who comprehended power in the sense of vast conquering maybe needed a refresher on the concept of strength, physical, just raw physical potential. Um, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Um, I'm Captain Canada, Joseph Arthur Roszell. Really want to thank you for watching. I want to wish you all the luck in the world. I love you, and I want you to know that suicide is never the answer. Peace out for now.